I thought tonight we were really steady, really handled the ball. We're able, for the most part, to get into our offense. I thought when we doubled Dickinson, I thought that was really beneficial for us. That I think they scored the first time we did it. Hunter went early. He just kind of did one of these like Jokic and hit the corner guy, and he stuck the three. It's like, but then we adjusted, and then lastly, the guy in the first half that was really hurting us is Harris, and obviously he was a veteran. He's played the most men's college basketball games in the history of college basketball with 164 games, which is 2 NBA seasons, and he really was getting downhill. So we had to make a couple tweaks to our pick and roll defense, and credit to our primary defender on him, and also Ezra Lawson, Caleb, KD, to be able to adjust to what we were trying to do. In the second half, they had a hard time with that. So that was big for us. And then obviously the rebounding. For us to get 16 offensive boards on 40 missed shots against a team like that, that's hard to do. And I think it told you a lot about our mindset.
On that point, I would be curious to hear just the mental toughness it takes to put out a 40-minute effort like you got against a team like Kansas, who demands your almost perfection to beat them.
Yeah, it's a credit to our guys, man. It's a good group. It's a really good group. Maybe sometimes a little nice. We have work to do. There's no doubt. But what I'm excited, we are getting better, and we beat Colorado. Obviously, the last road, there was clear signs of improvement in that trip. But I understand how that goes. Like I've said a million times, it's a bottom line business. I understand that. But if you're locking into the process, man, you can see some things really. So then it's a matter of how mentally tough are we. And this thing is a grind. Like this league, I love this league. I'm so happy to be part of this league. It's real competitive, and you got to show up. And so it's mental toughness. And how can you respond? You got to take care of your body, of course, but it's a mental. And, guys get excited to play a top. When you play a team like that, you're going to have juice to you. I would hope, right? But for them to stay together, they're a connected group. These guys get along. I just can't even explain. It's not perfect, but, man, you just see it. Ezra's birthday was on Friday, so we had practice, and he knows we have a little thing we do at the end, and he's kind of trying to hide, but then he knows, like, he's going to get – I'm not sure what the right word is, but the guys are going to tackle him basically. Hopefully they don't hurt him. But it's just a tight group, man, and they didn't flinch. Right? You cannot flinch in this thing. You just cannot. You got to play with great force and go at people, and then whatever happens, happens. Right? But I told the guys that we had a great competitive spirit to us tonight, and it showed.
Craig, got a two-part question for you. A, just how special is it for Gabe to hit the shot when he did, but also break the record?
Did he break the record on that shot?
Yeah. Oh. How special was that? And B, how as a coach have you helped Gabe through his, struggles and ups and downs that he's had this season? I know you mentioned that previously he hadn't been through anything like this before.
Yeah, man, I care for that kid. I care for all these guys immensely. But Gabe, first of all, we have such a rich tradition here at the University of Utah. A lot of people say, oh, he's a fifth-year guy. Well, the guy played 2 games at Cincinnati. This is his 4th year at Utah. Obviously his slump. When John Vu told me about this 3 days ago, but I wasn't thinking about it in the postgame. So then Hunter Van Dyke spoke to our team after, and he said congratulations to Gabe. So that was cool. But the guys gave him grief right away. Well, you shot the most threes too. They had to have fun with it. But, it's really rewarding. He's such a great kid. All he cares about is winning. That dude doesn't care. Like, is it cool? Yeah. Guy's always been about the team. It's all he cares about. Like, he doesn't talk about himself. All he wants to do is win. That's all he wants to do. He could have won a lot of places this year, like this summer. A lot. And he stuck it out. He's just like, this place has changed my life. And now I'm getting a little deeper, but he's just like, this place has changed my life. I love this place. I love the school, love living in Salt Lake. That's not hyperbole. That's not lit coach speak. It's just the truth. So it's hard. It hurts when you see him going through the struggles and the pain, and nobody has higher expectations for Gabe than Gabe. Like, I have to tell the dude to stop sometimes, the amount of time he puts into the gym, because I just think it affects he forgets how long of a season it is in the grind, if that makes sense. So I'm so happy for him. He puts the time in. He works his you-know-what off. There's a lot going on this year. I think just the expectations, though, and you could kind of see, I mean, we had a really, really healthy talk, whatever it was, 3 weeks ago, but you could kind of see he was getting back to himself with his body language, his mindset, mentality. He's kind of had to learn to play a little bit differently with this team versus the last 3 years. He's just letting it ride now and being Gabe Madsen. And I think that's the difference. And, he got a little overzealous probably late in that, the last 10 minutes specifically against Cincinnati. And he knew it. He said it in the postgame. And I thought tonight, with the exception of probably 2 shots, he did a way better job of, like, when he was open from the 3, he took it. Otherwise, he put his head. Got the big and one, right, where he could have settled it, right? Like, he had an opening there, and he turned the corner. And that's what he has to keep doing because he is such a talented guy where people are closing hard, and he has to find that blend. So I'm so happy for him. And obviously it helps our team. I mean, because you can, when you have a weapon like that and when you can make shots, it just makes us a way better basketball team on so many levels.
Great. Craig, Caleb Lohner.
Like I've told you this before, my father-in-law still calls me Greg after almost 30 years. That's true story. No, it's a C, not a G.
Caleb Lohner has had maybe no minutes or some
Yeah.
minutes. Obviously had a great defensive effort tonight.
Phenomenal.
What can you say about him as his defensive effort, but also as your team's defensive effort?
I'm proud of him. Like, he is, man. I'm so as the head coach, I'm so happy to be able to coach him. It's a short time. I really wish we could have coached him for 4 years because, man, I know what he could do. It's been a lot for him. I don't think he's played the last 2 games, maybe 3. And I did point out Jake's 12 rebounds and KD's 10 rebounds. And then I singled out Caleb because this was such a great team win. It was a team, man. But he, after the Cincinnati game, where we got really hurt on the glass, like, Caleb's an elite rebounder. Miro's a very good rebounder as well for a guard. And just had to really consider all that. You know what I'm saying? Like, man. And just getting ready to play these guys, I texted Caleb. Wednesday was our off day, and I said, Caleb, no promises, but you need to be ready. And that dude shows up every practice. He is just like he played tonight. That's what he's like in practice. He's made Ezra a way better player, right? Because those two are bumping heads every day. Ezra's improved dramatically, and I think a lot of that's going against Caleb on a day-to-day basis. But we put him in some different positions. We really practiced some different things going into Kansas because of how they play, and he's so competitive, and that energy is contagious. So he might make some mistakes because he's going 1,000 miles an hour, and he's just all over. But, man, you felt him out on that floor tonight. His ability to switch ball screens 1 through 5 and stay in front of the ball, right? He's so quick twitch and sudden with his movements and physical, and his hands. He forced a turnover. Was that in the second half, kind of under our basket? Comes into the game, gets an offensive rebound right away, right, and scored. Then him and KD were all over the offensive glass together, and I thought that gave us, like, a lot of extra juice. And so he was so big tonight. But he's such a pro, like, truly just a pro. And he's so grateful. Like, thank you, coach. Like, he just is so grateful, has such gratitude, and just handles himself in such a manner that I think his teammates really appreciate. He has a great voice, too. He understands winning. He's got a great voice on the team. So super happy for him. Played outstanding. Really put his stamp on this game tonight.
Coach Self mentioned that he thought you guys did a really good job scouting them and doing a good job going against their players. What do you feel like went right in the film room and prep this week to get that to happen?
Yeah, our guys are really locked in. It's twofold. Justin Johnson had our defensive game plan. Justin and one of the other guy on our staff that helps with some of that stuff. And then Tyler Larson does a lot on the offensive end. And I thought we were really on point. We didn't reinvent the wheel, but we definitely had some things in place that we really harped on for 2 days. Our scout team did a great job as well. helping us get ready for it. So it truly takes everybody. There's a lot that goes into this thing. Those guys did an unbelievable job. But our focus and our ability to say, hey, this is what we're going to do, but these are, whether it's post defense, screen and roll defense, guarding personnel. And I thought, I touched on it a little bit, but some of our in-game adjustments tonight with how they were kind of going at us, I thought was really big. We haven't always been able to do that, and it's really annoying and frustrating as a coach. You got to be able to adapt and adjust in a game, but to think ahead, and we put a lot of time into that the last 2 days, and our guys were effective. And Hunter Dickinson, guys, dude's averaging almost 20 a game. You see how the guy's 7'1", listed at 265. He's huge. His pointer, he sticks the three. Right at the end when we're up 8, cuts it to 5. His touch is elite. His ability to just catch it, boom. And it's that we were able to keep him off balance with all of our different things that we did against him. He was the focal point. And he gets 12 points and 12 shots, and one of them was that 3 at the very end, right? And I think he made 1 out of 2 on the flagrant 1. So right, we did a really, really good job with him. And then they're so good at their lob games. He's an elite passer. That's what he never gets credit for this, and I've never seen him play a lot, but he's a really good passer. So the number of alley-oop lobs where he's getting the catch off of a screen and roll, and then he just throws it up to Adams, right? Or he throws them up to the freshman. And I think they only got 1 alley-oop. I think they got 1 lob dunk tonight, which for them is very few. That doesn't happen often. So I just thought our game plan was really good. Harris really got going in the first half. I think he only had 2 points in the second half, so we were able to kind of keep him at bay. And then lastly, Mayo, he did get 15 points, but I thought they were hard-earned points, if that makes sense. So credit to our staff and our players for following that game plan and really communicating and sticking it out.
Coach, short turnaround with Kansas State on Monday. Is there anything different that you foresee as far as maybe extending the rotation or anything different strategically as you guys face K-State? Well,
they're a different animal. Now, I know they lost tonight. Coming into tonight, they had won 6 games in a row, and they were on fire. These dudes were playing amazingly well. I think they beat Kansas at home. They beat Iowa State, and they beat, who was the other team? I forget who it was. Top-level teams in our league. And so they have it all. Guys, these dudes, their starting point guard is electric. Coleman Hawkins is, I think he's 6'10", but he's a point forward. He plays the power forward. He can play the 3. He can play the 5. Elite passer, can really score the ball, and they surround them guys with a bunch of really competitive guys that are really, really talented. So, I've watched them a few games because of our off day Wednesday. I was really able to kind of get ahead and also watch Kansas, and they put a lot of pressure on you. They're very, very versatile. So this is going to be another one where it's we're going to have to really be on point because they're just so different than any other team in the league because of their personnel. So what we're going to have to do with our game planning stuff is going to be, guys are going to have a full day tomorrow. It'll be a light day in terms of physical activity. It's going to be a full day mentally understanding what we're going to have to do on this really tight turnaround. And then when it comes to the team, I think we've pretty much settled in on 7 guys that are playing a lot, maybe 8. I should say 8 guys, and then it's kind of been a little bit kind of depending on our matchup to some extent. Caleb doesn't play for 3 games, played great tonight. So we're going to need everybody.
One more after this. Coach Self and Hunter really talked about how one of the biggest things tonight was the fact that you guys were able to get so many offensive rebounds, have a 10 advantage on those guys. Can you just speak more to how that was such a big impact tonight? We've seen you guys out-rebound people, but especially tonight, those come at some critical moments.
It was huge. I got 7 turnovers, and getting 16 offensive rebounds was the difference in the game at the end of the day. We go 9, or they go 9 for 24 from the 3. We go 11 for 34. But I just thought the rebounding. Ezra with 3, Jake with 3, Lawson with 3, Mike with 2, right? KD with 2. You could feel it out there. Caleb with 1, and he scored off of it. So you could feel us. in that respect. And so that has to be a strength. When you're playing Jake at 6'10" at the 3, and KD's playing, the 3 and the 4 with his 6'9" and, that long wingspan that he has. And Ezra's that offense rebound Ezra had on the missed free throw. I mean, those are the plays you got to make. And those are the plays we haven't consistently made. And so we have to keep doing that. But it's easier said than done. It's a highly athletic league, highly competitive. But the point is you got to go consistent. We stat that out every game. We read it to our guys after the next day in film. They hear it every game. And so the harder you work, the luckier you get, right, in a lot of respects. But that was big because that's hard to do against the type of team like Kansas. So credit to our guys for doing that.
Guys, would be curious to hear your thoughts on the overall effort level tonight. It seemed to be perhaps the best of the season on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, I mean, it was it felt like we almost led the whole game. I just felt like we had a good game plan going in there. And, it was just good energy in there. Shout out to the fans for coming. It makes it, really fun to play in environments like that.
Gabe, walk me through that final shot. Obviously, a big one for you, not only for the team, but you break the all-time three-point.
It's a really good pass, by the way.
It was a really good pass.
Walk me through what was going through your mind. Did you know it was going in? And just how special is it now to reflect on the record that you broke?
Yeah, it's been a up and down year for me shooting-wise, so to do it tonight and in that fashion is just – it's pretty cool. That's one I'll remember for a long time. Don't got much else to say.
People have no idea. I'll say it for them. People have no idea how consistent and how perseverant this guy is. And he won't let anyone know about it. It's his thing. And it's been so cool for me to see and be a part of. And his consistency and his hard work and effort, and he's a great example to everyone in the locker room, and I'm proud of him. Love him.
Thanks, man. Love you too.
You guys have taken a lot of pride this year on kind of positionless basketball, where you guys can switch 1 through 5, is what you guys have said.
Yeah.
Bill self-credited you guys tonight for that on defense, saying that really led to your guys' success. What have you guys seen from that, and was there anything different tonight that allowed you guys to be able to have the success that you did on defense?
Yeah, I think we just have some versatile lineups, and we can make some switches on when we need to. And like I said, we had a good game plan coming in here, and I think we made some good changes throughout the game. And that just shows how we're locked in and ready for anything.
Gabe, this is a two-part question
Yeah.
for you. A, did you know about the record coming into the game? Was it kind of
Yeah.
your goal to break it? And B, walk me through the stretch that you had where things weren't falling for you, and just how did you ultimately get out of that?
Yeah, so I actually had no idea. I try not to ever look at stats or anything like that. But when I was I was shooting before the game, and I was walking off, and I hear Gabe Madsen is 5 threes away from the record, and I was like, I really wish I didn't know that. So that it was I didn't know, but then I did right before the game. But yeah, like I said, it's been an up and down year, and something I've never really struggled with necessarily like that, those kind of stretches. But I said on the radio show a while ago, I'm gonna always stay consistent. I think that was kind of a test for me of do I believe in what I do, and do I believe in the work that I put in. And I never wavered, and it's been an up and down year, but I think I've really grown a lot just mentally, and just it's a test, and I think, it's just cool that it happened tonight.
The free throw shooting's kind of been, a challenge for the whole team this year, but you guys were able to close it out and win the game at the line down the stretch. What kind of mentally do you take out of that and going forward?
I don't know. That's free throw shooting is. It's hard to really you got to focus on it, but if you focus too much on it, you can kind of go insane. We always hear, from each other, just, get in the gym, do the extra things. But, I don't know. We had some good bounces, I thought. I think Gabe made one that kind of went around the rim, and I heard Mike say, living right. And I was like, that's the truth.
These last few games, they were kind of what many thought were probably more winnable games than maybe this game, right? And then, it didn't go your guys' way. What has allowed you guys to keep fighting, to knowing that, Kansas is coming to your town, and obviously you're going to play up to that, but what's allowed you guys to fight even though it hasn't always been the best for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's been individually, it's been a little hard, but yeah, just as a team, like there's ups and downs, and we just continue to talk about being about the process, and you just never know what can happen in a season. You see it every year in the NCAA. There's a team or a couple teams that just come out of nowhere, and I mean it's just basketball at the end of the day. So if you can just figure it out in the right time, who knows what can happen. And I think that's kind of what the mindset we're keeping is like it's never over. And we just got guys that love playing with each other. And we just said the other day, like, this time of year, you got a lot of teams that start thinking about what's next. And where you can separate yourself is just being in the present and choosing every day to come in here and work for each other. So that's kind of been our mindset.
For both of you, kind of as you mentioned, just this season, before going into this game, you've been 0-9 in quad one games.
Yeah.
A lot of those were close games where you guys weren't able to close out tonight. Got your first quad one win. What do you think this kind of win can do for your guys' season moving forward? Do you see it as a momentum builder? I mean, walk me through that for both of you.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, sports is so much momentum. And, I mean, for myself, shooting-wise, and then as a team, it's like like I said, you never know what can happen. And sometimes that's all it takes. I mean, you've seen it even in our conference right now. Kansas State is rolling right now, and they were struggling for a while. So, I mean, sports is just so much momentum. So if you can just keep building on it, who knows what can happen.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, what was I gonna say? Pretty much what Gabe said. I blanked.
Just ditto.
I got you. Jake, this one's for Jake.
All right.
Jake, just with this win, like, obviously you put everything you have into each and every game, but with a program like Kansas, the storied history that they have, number 17 ranking, what does it feel to capitalize on, go out and execute, your game plan and just get the win? What does it mean, the rewarding feeling?
I don't know. The entire game, I think for everyone, our minds were just telling ourselves finish, because that's something we've struggled with in a lot of big quad one games, and comes down to the wire, comes down to the end, and my mindset was just finish this game. And I think everyone was telling each other that finish, and it's a hard thing to do. And I think I've said it before, but learning to finish a game is a skill. But it feels really good. I don't know why, but I gave my mom a big hug after, and just first time I've gotten like emotional about basketball in a long time. It felt really good, particularly this one. And I think it's because we've had some tough breaks recently, and we believe in each other, even though it's mid-February. There's still a lot of basketball left, and I think we all are committed to finish this thing until the very end and see what happens. So.
You guys have had a couple of big wins here at home this season. How can you kind of take some of this momentum and this feeling and this win when you guys go on the road next?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's always a little bit harder to win on the road, calls, whatever it is, fans. There's just outside things, so it's just, kind of trying to block out all that stuff and, we always say, like, you got to win by 10 to win by 1 on the road, and, we had a couple close ones, and those hurt, but we still got a few more road games here, so, like I just keep saying, you never know what can happen. Just keep building momentum, and still got a lot of basketball.